Hello, I'm Richard Vobes, the bald explorer, out on another walk.
Excuse me, sorry.
And...
Let me put that on mute. I'm really...
No, that's all right. Scrub that. Yeah. We'll do this again.
Can't get the headmasters these days.
No.
It's rubbish.
Hello, I'm Richard Vobes, the bald explorer, out on another walk. And this time, I'm taking a look at Sompting Abbotts. In fact, this is part 2 of our videos to take a look at this remarkable building and what is now a prep school, but it was at one time a residence. And we're going to find out more about that with these two lovely people who've come to help me do this. We've got the headmaster, Stuart.
Hi, Richard.
Stuart Douch, and we have Sarah
Monaghan,
who is, you've got kids here, and you're also a journalist.
That's right.
So, and you've been doing lots of history about the place.
I have.
So,
lots to find out.
Fantastic. We have been on the outside, so we're not going to linger any longer. We're going to go inside and take a look through the very lovely, impressive black doors. So, Stuart, I'll let you lead on.
Thanks, Richard.
So,
under the family crest, it says, there's a little dog up there on top of a shield, and it says in Fido, which means in faith. And it's also quite a good pun at the same time, I suppose. Being Fido for a doggy.
For a doggy, yeah, great. And in we come. Wow. Just the sound of the door is sufficient, really.
You can see these are the portraits of some of the people who used to live here. This is one of the Cross family, a local magistrate, looking very important, handing down an official bill and maybe writing another one in his right hand. He looks quite stern and austere, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. So many of them, of course, painted in those oils. They often look down at you, yes. And you feel you're not worthy. So we're standing in the main entrance here with all this beautiful wood, and of course it rises up above, as you can see, up to the balcony there and the staircase beyond. And there is a certain austerity in here, which I guess is so like the Victorians. They used to sort of have that very formal thing. And as a school, you've kept so much of the history of its time.
We have, but I think that our school's feel is quite gentle. We're a family-run school, and my staff are like a family, and we look after our children really, really well. We're not a very stern and austere place, but I know what you mean. Yes, the Victorian sort of atmosphere does percolate through.
And I'm sure when you've got children running around in here, there's a completely different atmosphere.
There is indeed, yes.
So I'm now eager to go and have an exploration. Where should we start?
Should we walk through the dining room into the kitchen and then up?
Yeah, lovely.
Is that okay?
Sounds perfect. So this is the dining area. Oh, and wow, look at that. And what an amazing view. Again, it's an empty room because you haven't got the kids sitting here and eating. But even so, you can imagine with the family that was here sitting around the table.
Absolutely. You're probably where the lady would have been sitting, the gentleman would have been sitting down there, because this is the original table from the manor house days.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It is.
It's amazing.
It really is.
And the kids are still allowed to eat off here.
Yes.
They do eat.
Yep.
They do eat off this. Yeah.
Yeah.
You must have had some amazing parties in this room, I should think.
I think so.
Yeah.
Dinner parties. Yeah. And we normally have all the chairs out, and there are more tables out during the term for all the children to have two settings of lunch in here every day.
You sort of sit there.
Yes. Yeah.
And you've got a rather striking fireplace here. With which I believe you do light.
We do light, yeah. If you've seen the previous video, those fantastic red brick fingers, the chimneys, some of the flues are still working, and so you can have a roaring fire here, and that really does make the room very, very hearty indeed.
Yeah, no, I can well believe it. There is a beautiful big mirror, which of course if I show you, you'll see the reflection of the man holding the camera. There we go. It sort of gives the game away a little bit, doesn't it? But if I come back here, you'll see what an impressive feature that is. Absolutely. And I know that you were telling me, Stuart, that the ornamentation around it was far greater in its day. You've got here little bits. There's a lot missing. Why is there so much missing?
There's a lot missing because the Canadian soldiers who were stationed here in the Second World War I think they wanted to take a bit of the Abbotts home back to, you know, the Vancouver or wherever it was, and so they got their knives out and they jemmied bits off, and you can see where they've actually, in some cases, ripped the wire scaffold that held it all in place. It would have been as thickly ornate as that bit at the top, all the way around.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least they left that for us.
Yeah.
Couldn't
But sometimes the fact that people have done that, 80 odd years ago, it's all part of the charm and the history, isn't it?
It is, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So we're coming out of the dining area, and I gather next door there's another room just like this, which perhaps was a sitting room or some such thing.
Now our assembly room.
Ooh, sorry, I've let the door slam. Hope I don't get 100 lashes for that.
Certainly not. And this is our kitchen, and it was their kitchen too.
So the old original kitchen, of which of course you've got these modern cooking facilities, but I'm just coming back here to get a better view of that magnificent, dresser, that's the word I was looking for, with all the beautiful plates. That is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the kitchen is still being used today, which I think is lovely.
It's still being used, but we just don't use any of the really old-fashioned stuff, as you can see.
Yeah, so some very odd-looking gadgets. Let's just
you've got mincers, which is what that one is.
Yeah.
You've got vices and a sort of kitchen guillotine on the handle here.
Heavens.
And above that is probably my favourite gadget. It's a really, really old first electric kettle. You can see it has a really ancient electric socket sticking out.
Good heavens! And you don't use that then in your private study, headmaster?
Alas, not, Mr. Rose. No.
So we come back out into the corridor now, and above my head, although we have pictures of the teachers, there's Mr. Douch looking very chirpy and jolly.
It's a very unnatural photograph.
Proving that he is a nice, kindly headmaster. Of course, the truth will no doubt come out. However, above my head, if you glance up here, ladies and gentlemen, these here, the original bells. So we're in the servants' area.
Yep.
And when his lordship, ladyship wanted something, those would ring, and whoever was responsible for that duty, presumably, or that room, would go and...
You can see you've got the ellipses under the bells, and they would have the room's names painted on. Yeah. And these actually were beginning to be slightly old hat towards the end of the 1800s, because a lot of stately homes had electric buttons and things.
Oh, right.
But I think
even in Sompting in the middle of nowhere, as we probably
even in Sompting,
that's interesting, isn't it?
Made me think of A Christmas Carol every time I look at them.
Yeah,
Scrooge's bell swings.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Fantastic.
So we're going to go up the servants' stairs.
Let's go up the servants' stairs. We know our places, don't we?
Indeed.
So the servants' stairs, of course, are those stairs that I think you mentioned would have had a carpet on so that nobody could hear the servants rising and falling, hopefully not falling, climbing and descending.
Absolutely.
And servants were there not to be seen, weren't they, most of the time?
That's right. I mean, the originals would have looked like that step there. These are stone steps that we put in to make it easy for staff to go up and down the stairs.
Yes.
But yeah, if you're a servant, master does not want to see you, and they don't want to hear you either. So you have to go up carpeted stairs, keep your footfall nice and quiet.
So the tower's up there. Did you want to see the other part?
Oh, let's see the luxurious bedrooms and the wonderful en-suites that the rich had, and then what you've done to them to accommodate the school. And first of all, we're coming out onto that the balcony here to look down on the entrance, which gives us an amazing view.
It does.
I tilt the camera down like that. It's absolutely wonderful. You could keep an eye on who's coming in and not, and who's leaving.
A little bit like a castle battery.
Yeah. Fantastic. So these, of course, are now classrooms.
Yeah, this is our lovely maths classroom. And
how many pupils do you have in the school today?
We have just under 100 at the moment.
Right.
And more are joining. But we're a small school, but it works well to our advantage. Our children get a lot of one-to-one attention.
I'm sure. Yeah, absolutely, of course. But this obviously wasn't a classroom in its day.
No, this would have been probably the ladies' room. I say that because you've got this lovely sort of turret area here with these fantastic windows. There's about 5 of them, offering a lovely panorama. She kind of sat there maybe with her watercolour tutor, as was de rigueur back in those days, and painted some lovely things so that you could see out the window.
Yeah.
Our beautiful grounds.
Absolutely, and they are beautiful, striking grounds. Must take a lot to keep them up. Of course, we talked about in the first video. Yes. We talked about the fact that there was marsh and water ahead, but back in the Victorian period, presumably Sompting was beginning to get built up a bit.
A little, although you still would get that flooding until about 1960 here. But yes, it was becoming to be a bit easier to sort of get around without having to wear welly boots.
Yes. Yeah, no, absolutely. What a lovely, charming little snuggy hole this is, but, you know, and a terrific view. I love it.
See over there, that's where the fireplace used to be, so that would be a very toasty, warm area of the room.
And interestingly, you've boarded that up. I would have thought, being a school with young children, that you could have that going, because kids, you know, they loved climbing up the chimneys back in.
Well, quite possibly, yes.
Send them up there.
I think that might go against health and safety, mightn't it? Climbing up chimneys.
Yes,
you know.
Yes.
They are allowed to climb trees here, but not chimneys.
But of course, back in the day, kids did climb those chimneys.
Sadly, yes, they did. The sweep, that's right. But no need for them nowadays. Thank God.
No.
And certainly we're not going to give the kids an opportunity. Sorry, miss, haven't done my maths homework.
I was stuck up the chimney.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's right.
So coming back out, so we're going to go and have a look up the tower, shall we?
Yes. Okay. Fine.
That would be fantastic. Clearly, you could spend hours looking around and looking at all these wonderful things, find out who the people were and the paintings and stuff. But in a video like this,
would you like to have a quick look at the Bursar's room, or
let's have a look at the Bursar's room. Go on, because that's where all the money is, isn't it? Allegedly.
I refuse to answer that.
No.
Yeah, this is another beautiful panoramic view, a real master's study.
I'm going to come round here so we can get a look at some of the furniture. Don't look at the names on the files and how much the teachers are being paid, obviously, but we get this beautiful bureau here. But again, and it's interesting because you've got this dark red, and I'm imagining that back in the Victorian period that was the sort of colours that they used to use.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And this is one of the turret rooms, isn't it? You can
tell. Is it? Yeah. Clearly I couldn't afford to send my children to this school. Now, I know, Stuart, you said that you suffer a little bit with vertigo. It's not your favourite thing.
I do a little, yes, but I'm biting the...
You're going to brave it for us.
Yeah.
I'm sure we really appreciate that. So to get to the tower, we've wormed our way. I'll never be able to find my way back now. Into what looks like a storeroom.
Yeah,
this is a storeroom.
This is what our parents keep our used uniform for sales.
Second-hand uniform.
Oh right, always useful. And then there is a door, which
up, and it's very narrow.
Right.
Watch your step.
Okay. And up they go, never to be seen again. Yeah. And that's the time I close the door.
Yes. Tell my wife I love her.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is the summer, it is the school holidays, so no one will miss them for a long time. But up we go. And we come up into a little room, as you can see.
You can tell nobody comes up here, can't you?
Yes. Wow, this is amazing. With the mechanism of the clock, is the clock working, or is it?
It isn't working at the moment. I think it worked until just a few years ago.
Oh, right.
But no, it's not working at the moment. But that's the original workings.
Gosh. And then we get to come out.
Now there's a big gap here.
Oh yes, and some floorboards missing below me. I don't wait. If I suddenly vanish, you'll know why.
Airplane overhead.
Oh yes, there we go. And there we are. And what an amazing view of tiles, chimneys, and all those rooms beneath. So you're getting these apexes. It's just quite staggering.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
Isn't it? And of course, then you've got that terrific view south down to those wonderful wind farm, which has recently been erected. But the coast, down to the coast, and unfortunately we don't have the best of weathers, but have a look. I'm absolutely fascinated by the rooftops. You know, if anybody who's seen Mary Poppins will know that they, you know, rooftops and chimney sweeps all go together. But this is amazing, isn't it? Beautiful flint, beautiful slate, yes,
yeah,
on the top here, and then brick with those. And I'm just waiting for those pupils to come out, the tops of the chimneys, to tell us they're all clean. They're all very clean now, sir. Which they have yet to do. And then above us, we have this very ornate window with sandstone.
Yep.
Presumably it's getting a little bit of blasting from the weather.
It is, yeah.
I suppose the salt.
It's local sandstone, the same thing that Lancing College Chapel is made out of, the outside of our building, and those lovely spiral steps that we just looked at.
And on the wall behind you, we mentioned in the first of the videos when we looked at the exterior how the older manor house had been pulled apart and bits were salvaged, and all that flint.
Every single one of those has been actually hand napped.
It's all been napped. Somebody,
fantastic, isn't it?
an army
think
of
about that.
People must have sat there with such skill. Well, they've all been rescued and then put into the render to give the building its magnificent Gothic feel.
Yeah.
That it has
I think
today.
they were just being practical as well. Actually,
Well,
I think they were just reusing.
It's great for history buffs, you know, because the history is living on in the building, isn't it?
It certainly is. Yeah. We've come to the end of our video. We've run out of time. There's so much more to see. There's another step ladder, a ladder in there that goes onto an even higher roof, but I think we're going to give that a miss because I think the heavens are going to open any second. But Stuart and Sarah, thank you so much for this privileged insight into Sompting Abbotts here in Sompting, above Worthing, in West Sussex. It's been a joy.
Thanks for coming around, Richard.
To have you. Thank you.
Yeah, so there you go. And if you've got children of the right age, then get in touch. Check out the prospectus online.
Please do.
Until the next time, thanks so much for watching. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.